So this is the toll gate system. It's like your cash card. You go up to this toll gate over here and hit it. Just drive through. Our first toll gate experience in China for me lah.
Now we're out of Shanghai. We are literally in the second city already.
That's right. Road trip has begun. I'm here in Shanghai, and today behind us I've got two Singaporean friends, Joseph, who all you know from Sexy Buttons, and Keith. Keith, can you introduce yourself, please?
Hi, I'm Keith. I'm also from Singapore. This is my performance Model Y. I live in Kunshan, which is in the Jiangsu province. Yeah, and I've been in China for many years.
Thank you, Keith, for being our host today. So today we're going to do a short road trip from Shanghai all the way up to Suzhou and check out local food, maybe see some industrial areas as well. For Joseph and I, it's our first time in Shanghai. So this is going to be a road trip adventure for us. Our objective today is just to learn from Keith on the Tesla experience, maybe visit a Supercharger, ask him how the locals think about Teslas versus other local EV brands, and just enjoy driving here. So click subscribe to stay updated to more videos on Tesla. Now before we get into Keith's Model Y, there's something interesting about the car plate I want to show you in Shanghai. And let's go to the front. So Keith, your car plate is actually green. So there's these green car plates here in China. They represent the car plates for the new energy vehicles. So in the past, they used to be for battery electric vehicles and also hybrids. But as of this year, for many cities, they're only giving this out to pure battery electric vehicles. Can you tell us a little bit more about these green car plates? How much did it cost you?
Basically, it's free.
So it is free compared to the standard blue car plates you have to pay in China, which may cost a little bit more. I heard in some articles up to $13,000. So if it's up to $13,000, that means the subsidy is almost a quarter of the price of getting a Model 3 or Model Y, which is very attractive in some cities here in China. And bear in mind that China has one of the lowest car prices in the world. Teslas are the cheapest here. You can get a Model 3 for about 30,000. Your Model Y, roughly about how much, Keith?
I bought it about 2 years ago, so it's 360,000 RMB. Yeah. And that is a performance Model Y. I bought the FSD as well. The FSD was about 65,000. So it's about 400 plus thousand. But this is the, and you know, I bought the blue paint as well, which cost another 8,000. And I think I bought a better tire also.
So these are the performance tires. If we get a chance with a clear strip of highway, let's put this car to the test. Okay, and right now we'll see you inside the Model Y. China, like the US, is left-hand drive, so the front passenger seat is going to be on this way. We're inside Keith's Model Y. Where are we heading to right now?
Right now we are heading to my factory, just to show them, you know, what I do in China, what, you know, support my family and myself for so many years.
So Keith is a Singaporean entrepreneur, lived here in China for many years. He has a furniture factory. So we're going to check it out. We've left the housing compound. We're now in the main roads in Shanghai. And actually it looks pretty chill because this is a Sunday morning. It is quiet. A lot of friends were advising don't drive in Shanghai. It may be pretty crazy.
We must buckle up.
But from what I've seen, it's actually pretty easy.
I said baby seat mode.
Oh, by setting baby seat mode, you can take away that.
For the back seat.
I didn't even know that. Now you taught me something because I have babies.
Oh,
new setting.
Never thought about it.
You can do that in the US as well. So we're just going to head out the city as we get closer to the freeways. We'll see you all again soon. We're now on the highways in Shanghai. What's the speed limit usually, Keith?
This is more of an internal highway, a 内环, so to speak. So that's about 80. But other than that, the highway, the intercity highway, that they are 120.
Okay, so pretty decent speed. And you can see in the highway, a lot of EVs. There's a Tesla over there as well. What are the most common brands of EVs you see right now, Keith?
BYD is by far the most common, but you know, there's a very big ecosystem of EV here with very different brands. You keep seeing new brands all the time.
Yeah, that's right. We're going to check out showrooms by Zeekr, by NIO. Joseph, what EVs are you seeing a lot in this trip?
I've seen quite a few. I've seen Li Auto, we've seen NIO, we've seen what's that, Zeekr.
See that the roads are actually pretty well built, well paved. The traffic conditions are good because it is a weekend. How do you compare driving in China compared to Singapore? Is it much harder, or is it actually it's okay?
The road conditions in China is, I would say, very, very good compared to a lot of the places that I've driven around. But because China is also a very, very big country, so I can say that they always struggle very hard to try to keep all the roads in tip-top conditions. Even though if you see potholes here and there, within a couple of days or even weeks, or within a couple of weeks or even days, they will have somebody attend to it. So, and from the GPS, you can also see that they strategically position cameras, speed cameras, road shoulder cameras, etc., etc., at very, very what do you call organized intervals. Yeah.
So you see the diversion truck over there.
Yeah.
We are in 2021 Model Y performance because Keith got his car 2 years ago. So you may also do a comparison of, say, the road noise, the suspension, compared to the newer ones, like the 2023 ones we experienced in Thailand. Of course, those are a lot more gentle in suspension, and the road noise has improved a lot. So Tesla constantly improves its cars. Among your family and friends, do you see more Tesla owners in China now?
There are definitely a lot of people considering Tesla ownership. Okay, I'm actually quite well versed in this one because I have a lot of colleagues who are in the middle class, and I have a lot of Chinese friends as well. So the main what do you call it, sweet spot for mid range for middle class family is between 150,000 RMB to 250,000 RMB. With some of the Daren locals better off, people who are a bit better off, they got money from the government because of Cai Qian and all that, one lump sum. So they would want to afford slightly better, like 300,000. So 300,000 will get you a very nice Beamer, a BMW, Mercedes. 250,000 will still get you actually surprisingly a decent BMW as well, or Cadillac. So unfortunately, right now the base price for Model 3 is somewhere in the 200 and 250,000, around there. So they haven't really gone down to the sweet spot of the middle class. If they really go down, I do have at least three friends that I know of that are considering a Model 3 once it hit the $200,000 RMB mark. Yeah. So I wouldn't want to get into the advertising versus price reduction debate, but I would say that the Tesla, at least for the Model 3, there's still some more room to grow. And when I say 150,000 and 250,000, I'm talking about all the cars, including SUVs. And there are also a very big group of Chinese that are willing to buy Tesla SUVs once it hit the sweet spot of 250,000 or maybe 200,000, which right now, unfortunately, no Model Y has hit so far. Yeah.
That's a great insight. So 250,000 roughly in US dollars, that'll be maybe around 35,000 US dollars, yeah, which is the price of this Model Y performance. Joseph, for you, when you talk to your Chinese friends,
Yep.
how attractive is a Tesla compared to the local EV brands?
I think it's still a premium in China, but if you check out all the Chinese EVs, the interior, it's okay. Can I say this is like a bit of like copycats of and the upgrades of the German cars? So Keith, have you checked out all the Chinese EVs before deciding on Tesla?
For me, not really, because I had my eyes set on a Tesla right when the Gigafactory was built. So I've already added the context of the salesperson in 2019, I think, or 2018.
Okay. But I think overall you're right. I mean, like the technology in terms of maybe the battery, right? The entire structure. Like example, when you open the front, usually just like the other brands, the Chinese EVs, the front you open, there's only a small compartment, or even in fact you cannot even open the front. But otherwise, interior it's actually very bagus. Do you know the seats, right? You can recline literally 180 degrees like the astronaut kind of like a OC massage chair. If you know what I mean, Keith. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the setup, it's maybe you should have an episode on covering all this Chinese EV soon. Yeah, right, Darren.
I hope to do so too. Great idea, Joseph. So we've got a little bit of perspective on Teslas here in China. The road's been amazing so far. So just going to drive a bit more. I think our journey is about 30 minutes.
This is so fast, pretty
Yeah.
fast.
There's another 25 more minutes.
So another 25 more minutes. We're just getting to the toll gate in front of us, which means we officially leave Shanghai city.
Okay. What's this electronic toll check? ETC 人工。
I never really found out how the acronym. Yeah.
他写了 ETC，可是他也不解释什么是
So
ETC。
this is the toll gate system. It's like your cash card. You go up to this toll gate over here, and hit it. Just drive through. Our first toll gate experience in China for me lah.
Now we are out of Shanghai. We are literally in the second city already.
That's right. Road trip has begun.
We're in Jiangsu.
Jiangsu already. Jiangsu.
What is Jiangsu known for?
Jiangsu,
美女。
Jiangsu is a very big province, so the main city or the capital, I wouldn't call it the capital, but the main city, the Shenhui, yeah, that they call it, of Jiangsu is Nanjing.
Yeah, look at that. Is that a bullet train?
It is, right?
Yes, yes.
Another 25 more minutes of driving. We'll see you when we reach our destination. We've exited the highways and we're now in the Kunshan Industrial Park. Can you tell us a little bit more about this place, please?
This place is called Kunshan. It's in between Suzhou and Shanghai. It's actually a historical city, no less historical than Suzhou, and in many ways actually much older than Shanghai. They will always tout their famous Kunqu, which is one of the ancient Chinese opera. One of the, there's the Beijing Jingju, so that is from Beijing, and there's the Cantonese version also. So Kunshan is one of the main big version of the Chinese opera, the Kunqu, which is I think thousands of years old. Yeah, so and Kunshan Kunshan also has this monument whereby the first emperor of China actually visited, and they built a shrine there. But we're not going to visit it today. It's quite out of the way. Kunshan is a very nice place with low standard of living compared to Suzhou and Shanghai. But yeah, it's close enough to Suzhou and Shanghai to enjoy all the aspect amenities. So I actually quite enjoy living here. Their government is also very enlightened. So in the 90s, they came to Singapore, to the SFIC, Singapore Furniture Industrial Council, and they got a group of Singaporeans over to build factories and to set up shop here. So there is a thriving small group of furniture makers here as well. Yeah.
It's really cool. You can see a BYD in front of us. You don't see this design outside of China right now. You don't see it in Singapore. This is a Han
Dynasty.
So BYD has some designs that look more like classic ICE cars, like Keith was mentioning earlier. So this area you see it's an old storied city and also some industrial. We're going to check out his furniture factory. Maybe let's do a short walk around. Here we are.
Yep.
So this entire building?
Yeah, the entire building. There's two brands. One is Dolce, more Italian one, and the other is Imelca, which is a Singapore brand.
So both is under your brand, lah.
Yeah.
Singapore brand again? Do you still sell it to Singapore?
Yeah, but not under my brand.
Oh, so they relabel it, lah.
Yeah.
We'll take a short tour inside. We're inside Keith's furniture factory. Can you tell us a bit more about this place?
Yes, we manufacture leather sofas. So as you know, leather sofas have to come from leather, right? So leather, these are the leather we use. So every piece represents a cow, because you can see the shape. And because they are organic, so cows come with their natural defects. They have their own scars, tick marks. They have brands, to identify the cow. All these will be left on the hide. So obviously, you are not going to draw them. You are not going to include them into a leather sofa. So you have workers still manually using templates, the seat template, the backrest template, the armrest template. They will place strategically on the leather to avoid all the tick marks and all that, and then they will cut the leather. So after you cut the leather, they will take them over to the sewing department, where they will sew them into cut and sew. We call them the cut and sew. Yeah, so the cut and sew will be transported via this into the upholstery department, where they will join up with the frame shop, where the wooden frame padded with foam and other paddings will be upholstered in the centralized upholstery department. Yeah.
It is so cool seeing a furniture factory behind the scenes for the first time. Now this place is pretty big. It's about, Joseph was mentioning,
It's not pretty
100,000.
big, it's
Huge, gigantic.
huge, it's massive.
It's like a giga factory for furniture.
It is giga
It's
factory.
it's like 1,000 HDB blocks.
Yes, 100,000 square feet. So it's 100,000 square feet, 100 5-room flats lah, literally.
Oh, that's insane.
These are real ladders.
Yeah, these are all real leather. So as I said, our main market is in Asia. So this bag we are shipping to Korea.
Korea.
Yeah.
Meant for Korea.
Then these are meant for Japan.
How do you tell?
The models. I know all the customers, of course. Then these are the raw material warehouse. This is the finished goods warehouse for China, because China they are more custom made to order. They don't order a bulk in a container like export customers. So as you can see, there's a lot of products with different packaging, different heights, different sizes. Then the more generic side is the export. So the export still makes up a big part of our business, but because export comes in full container loads, so they are more transitory. They come over here, they wait for 1-2 days, the container come, they will load one whole batch away. So, they will usually call Pinduoduo, those logistics companies to come and pull out one piece based on customers' requirements.
On my right is Keith's office. Can you tell us a little bit more about your room?
Okay, first and foremost, a disclaimer. Our company focuses more on B2B business. We are not selling directly to consumers, so we thought sometimes it's okay to have a bit of fun. And I am a very big fan of Elon Musk. I admire not just the brand itself, but also his work ethos. So he's very focused on his products, and I would like to think that my company culture is also very product focused. So when Elon Musk starts to give himself the chief techno officer, I thought to myself, hey, you know what? I should call myself the chief comfort officer as well, because at the end of the day, so far it's all about comfort. So I would like to focus my lifelong dream to make every sofa that my factory manufacture a very, very comfortable piece of art. Yeah.
This is really cool. So Elon Musk is Techno King, Keith is Sofa King.
Sofa King is kind of a joke because, Sofa King and good, so fucking good. And so, as you can see, every time I feel tired in the afternoon or whatsoever, I'll just look at him, because once you look at him, you will energize yourself. Why? Because you know that he sleeps in the factory, you know that he works non-stop, insane hours, and you know that his mind is always exploding with ideas. So every time when you just turn your face and look at him, and put yourself in his situation, what will you do? Then you will find that you are actually somebody who has very little stress, who is living very, very comfortably, and whatever you are doing right now is like peanuts, it's nothing. So you better wake the hell up. Yeah.
So as Keith says, what would Elon do? We've left Kunshan Industrial Zone and we're now heading west towards Suzhou. Where are we heading to now, Keith?
So now we are heading towards Suzhou, the main city. Suzhou, there's also the industrial park, the SIP, which is in between Kunshan and the main city. But because the industrial parks, they have very nice amenities for the expats, but generally they don't really have a lot of things to see. The main Suzhou city is a historical town. It's very beautiful. You know, there's a Chinese saying, 上有天堂,下有苏杭. So when you talk about 下有苏杭, you're talking about Suzhou and Hangzhou. So I would just like to see if during the drive-through we can come across some really unique Suzhou scenery. Yeah.
I think that's going to sound great. We've seen a lot of Teslas along the highway drive as well. Just saw a white Model Y. And the drive has been very smooth, very relaxing. I definitely want to drive in China next time when I come here. Rent a Model Y, go on a road trip. Spotted a really nice red Tesla Model 3 behind us. Check it out. And we're here in Suzhou City. Keith is bringing us to eat nice noodles. Can you tell us a bit more about this restaurant, please?
This is a noodles place. The Kunshanese call this a Aozao Mian. I would call it a noodles genre or something like that, but there are various different names for it. There's a Hongju Mian as well. The type of noodle they use for this is very different from anything you can find in Singapore. That's why I thought to bring them and have a look around. I was thinking of bringing them to eat hairy crab, but that takes up a lot of time. It should be done during dinner. This is the other very famous Kunshan dish. Yeah.
Thank you for bringing us here. We're hungry, so we'll see you inside and have some noodles for lunch.
拌面是吗？
不是拌面啊。
你来拌，我不会拌。这是葱花油。
Lunch is here. Keith, can you tell us what are these 3 meals, please?
过来一下。
怎么办？
我帮你拌吗？还是你们自己拌？
你帮忙一个拌一下，然后我们再自己来。
我拍一下视频啊。
好。
这个叫什么拌面啊？
这是三虾拌面。
三虾。
对。
有3种虾。
So noodles has to be stirred. So this is what
有虾仁、虾脑、虾籽儿。
She's explaining right now that there's 虾仁、虾脑、虾子。Basically, different parts of the prawn.
The roll.
Yeah, the roll. That's a lady boss. That's a lady boss.
我说我都没有不好意思，没有时间照顾你们。
没有，都有在照顾啊，照顾得很好。
这还有拌吗？
这个也要介绍一下这个。
但是葱花油，葱花油，对，
葱花油。
葱花油它就是那个螃蟹的那个母蟹黄。
哦，蟹黄。
哎，对。
Yeah, it's also the crab roll.
So ours is the same, right, Keith?
I think,
你要再拿2个。
I just anyhow pick. I just pick 3 of
直接用吗？
对，可以。
Have you had this before, Joseph?
No, not at all. First time, but it's a 拌面 man. Yeah.
It's very cool.
苏州特色。
是。
So we're going to enjoy our lunch and we'll see you when we're back in the road trip.
那 Keith 你们自己照顾自己。
We just finished an amazing lunch. The noodles were something else. I think Keith or Joseph was saying that can't get this in Singapore. And before we head out, Keith just wants to share with us a little bit of what he did during COVID with his Tesla.
So during COVID in China, especially in Shanghai, there were a few months of lockdown, complete lockdown. So you were trapped, literally locked from exiting your apartment. But in Kunshan, which is another city from Shanghai, about 50 kilometers, the lockdown wasn't complete in the sense that you're not allowed from your apartment. You can still go down to the compound downstairs, but you cannot exceed the compound. So, I have a family of 4, and we have an RE as well, so it's 5 person. So in our house, it can get pretty cramped. So what I did is, during the lockdown, I actually spent many hours in my Tesla, just with the air condition on and just playing games. And what I did is, Stardew Valley was my favorite game. Without this opportunity, this lockdown opportunity, I would not have explored all the games here. I do play a lot of solitaire, of course. I can briefly run through the solitaire later on. just the records. I think I play a few hundred rounds of solitaire. But for Stardew Valley, because it's a RPG that is ongoing, you have to collect items, you have to grow crops, you have to watch over it, you have to combine them. So let's say your golden watering can. So what you do is you have two iron ore, and you can smelt it into an iron bar. Same for gold, same for copper, and they can be used for many other things. So as you can see, I have garnered quite a good collection of this. This is something that you dig from the ground that can be broken open, and then you can have a hidden surprise inside. I used to have a horse. Yes, I used to have a horse. So the horse allows you to get around how much faster.
Wow. Amazing.
So you just listening to the galloping hooves, right, give you comfort during COVID itself. So I'll just do stuff like that.
That's a really nice. Thank you so much for sharing. Now, full-fledged games like this, you see so many more games in the Tesla over here.
So for solitaire, as you can see, let me see. Under statistics, I played 2,000 over games.
Wow.
You said a few hundred.
Sorry,
Yeah.
I underestimate how much I played. Yeah.
Understatement. Now, this whole suite of games, the whole touchscreen infotainment, they're also powered by the AMD Ryzen processor,
Yeah,
which is one of our sponsors for
And one
TeslaCon.
more thing, there are Chinese games. Chinese games, this is different from Singapore Teslas. Can you see?
Oh, okay.
斗地主.
Yeah, 斗地主and mahjong, yes.
Oh,
Yes.
okay. Very cool.
I didn't really touch the rest.
So, your Tesla can do a lot more than just get you from point A to B. It can also get you from point A to B in a virtual world where you play your video games. Now, where are we heading to, Keith?
Now we are heading to the most popular tourist spots around the region. It's called Tongli. Yeah, it's right next to Zhouzhuang, which is an equally popular area. It's basically a water town. You see a lot of nice, very calm rivers with people rowing boats with bridges spanning from one side of the river to the other. It's kind of like Venice, but in a very Chinese way, because the people who stayed there still pretty much maintain their way of living for the past few hundred years. A lot of the residents there are still staying there right now and still living the kind of lifestyle that the ancient people lived a few hundred years ago.
Let's head out and we'll see you there when we're on the road. Okay, we're here. We're reaching the Tongli ancient town right ahead of us. Does look like going to Disneyland.
Yeah, it does feel Universal Studios.
Yeah, Model Y is passing by us.
它的船停到这里，然后呢，就从这里就可以开出去。
We're here inside Tongli ancient town, but our tour guide behind us, who's giving a tour in Mandarin. Keith and Joseph are doing the English translation for a banana like me.
这边停船了，那边停船，它两个船一跨就过去了。
哦，一跨就是还是踏船过去吧，踏船过去吧。
对，要么就划船嘛，很方便呀，就是你看两个船。
Everything you see around us here is almost 1,000 years old, preserved exactly the way it was, just repaired constantly. This is quite a great look into the old side of China, which I've never seen before. Joseph, how do you find this place?
Overwhelming. It's so exaggerating. It's super nice lah.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
And again, I just got to thank Keith for bringing us here as well. Thank you so much.
No problem. Yeah. Thanks. You
船有茶位。
gotta see how people live 1,000 years ago.
Yeah.
这边的真毒堂，它就是同里的唯一的一个状元叫魏如仙度过的一个。科举出世以来，总共是过1名状元，12名进士，93名子弟，300多位秀才。然后所以在这里呢，保留下来的好寺庙。
We'll walk around here for about an hour, and when we're done, we'll see you back in the car. We're here inside the compound of an ancient guest house, and there are trees that blossom in different seasons. On my right, that tree blossoms during the day. And on my left, the tree blossoms during the night. Now it's not the blossom season, but the flowers will look like these tiles here. Like those white flowers. And above me are the guest houses, which we can head up to. So come join me as we go up the stairs. So we're heading up the stairs over here. As we head up these stairs, you can head to the balcony, which we saw on the ground level. Down here. It's a very nice balcony down here. And the guest rooms are right ahead of me. So down here, you'll see the guest room, changing room, dining tables, balconies, sofa. This place is amazing, it's beautiful. And further down, we get to see a view of the lake. So down here, you can see all the koi fish down here. And that's a beautiful scenery. We are leaving Suzhou city right now and we're going to head back to Shanghai. It's a 45-minute drive and we'll stop in one supercharger station. This is going to be a 18-stall supercharger station. It's a V2 stall, so it charges up to 120 kilowatts. We'll check it out. We'll show you what's it like using a supercharger in China, which is a bit different from the rest of the world. And you can see now we're in the highway, making our way back. So here you can see the Tesla navigation. There are 13 stalls available. It'll take us about another 42 minutes. We'll reach at 30% state of charge.
Yeah, pre-condition start already.
Currently we're at 45% state of charge, so 15% to head back to Shanghai. Not too bad. And you can see, as Joseph mentioned, there's preconditioning for the battery.
Should we ask a key question? What is your mileage? What do you think for 0 to 100?
What's your real world range, Keith?
Yeah, the range.
Right, it really depends. But so far the climate in Shanghai is, if you ask me, it's quite optimal for Tesla. Except during summer times where it gets really, really hot. Otherwise, the weather in spring and autumn are generally quite mild. In winter, it doesn't get very cold also. At best, it's about 5 degrees, maybe 0 to 5 degrees. And the road conditions, as you can see, they're actually quite good. So I would say that it's you don't lose a lot of charge during when you're not driving, or even when you're driving, unless you really step on the accelerator too much and try to drive too aggressively. Yeah, if you use your autopilot and maintain a cruising speed of about 110, 110-ish, usually you get about the same. What is shown is what you get, basically.
Oh, you mean you can really hit somewhere close to 400?
Yeah, but I usually start charging at around 100 when I have about 100 left.
That's pretty good. So the real world range, okay, normally for performance owners, they charge up to 80-85%. They won't go up to 100 because they're not using the LFP batteries like rear-wheel drive. So you can get around 450 kilometers of real world range. Not too bad. We're on a highway towards Shanghai right now, and Keith is using Autopilot, as you can see in the touchscreen. Right now, you can see that the roads are pretty straightforward, some gentle bends. How's your experience with Autopilot so far?
Well, Autopilot, I've bought FSD, but apparently FSD is not available in China right now, so I've been using Autopilot all this while. So I cannot differentiate which one is the FSD package and which is the Autopilot one. However, when I used the Autopilot feature, I noticed that the phantom braking has been substantially reduced. Initially, when I bought it, right, every time I pass by a big truck or for no other reasons at all, there are always phantom braking. But now, because of, I don't know which software upgrade that I've received, the phantom braking has been dramatically reduced. And also, the reduction of the speed when it gets close to a car is also a bit more gradual than last time. So I'm actually quite happy using autopilot, especially when traveling intercity.
You can see the car's cameras capture the vehicle ahead. If there's anything else that comes, it will capture it as well. So to Keith's point, the way you can see whether it's autopilot or FSD, these two blue lines represents autopilot. So you go to the car menu, you go to autopilot, and you can see over here, these are Keith's current settings right now. So it's actually pretty simple to drive. Like, you can be hands-free a bit, just keep your hands on the wheel from time to time. In your experience, what are the main limitations of autopilot in China?
Well, autopilot, just for lane keeping, it should be quite sufficient. There are a few drawbacks, like for example, right now, let's say if sometimes they will still auto disengage. That means even if I will activate the steering wheel, every once in a while they'll ask you to nudge the steering wheel a bit, which I'll do just to make sure that you are alert and continuously pay attention to the road. But even if I do it sometimes, but not getting less and less often, it will automatically disengage and say that I'm not paying attention. And also there are still some problems with phantom braking, but just not a lot. Once in a while, enough to give my wife a fright. Yeah.
Thanks for sharing your experience, Keith. It's really good. It's not perfect. The human is still always in control. There are rumors that people believe that FSD beta or version 12 should reach mainland China by next year. So fingers crossed, because this is one of the world's most important car markets. And you can see cars holding steady. We are now just half an hour away, according to the maps here, the Baidu maps, to the Supercharger station. Because Keith is using another map in here. Can you tell us what map this is? Because this one gives more detailed traffic data.
This is the Gaode Daohang, which is like the Google Maps of China. So it's highly accurate. There are a lot of sensors also on the road that feeds information to it. Therefore, the real-time traffic information is much more accurate than, unfortunately, the Tesla navigation system, as well as other Chinese or international apps when compared to them. So this is like the app that everybody goes to. And if you register yourself as a 新能源, which is new energy car, it's also able to help you plot, all the charging stations along the way that you can use or that you have to use if you want to go on the road trip. Yeah.
That's really helpful. So you'll find a link for this app down in the video description. Is there an English name for this app?
Well, it's known as A Maps, but I don't know whether that's the term that you use to download. Yeah, but on WeChat, if people send you a link and you click on it, you have to click on A Maps to open it.
So there you go, A Maps. We're back in Shanghai City. There's a toll gate in front of us, and we are about 5 minutes away from a supercharger station. It's just ahead of us, and you can see in the map here. So just have to go straight down and make a right, and our supercharger station will be in the mall. Okay, so according to the map, we just go ahead and make a right turn, and here we are, the supercharger station.
Hey, you saw it? Oh,
yeah,
nice.
So there should be 16 stalls here. We see a couple of stalls on our left, a couple of stalls on our right. There's one empty stall towards our right, a couple in here. So you can see that there are barriers in the supercharger lots, and Keith is going to walk us through how to get into a supercharger station.
To prevent cars from parking in those supercharging stations, which in China happens very, very frequently, drivers almost intuitively do this kind of thing. So what they do is they have this this barricade. Yeah. Then there's the QR code over there, QR code over there that you can scan. And once you scan, You are supposed to key in the code which is given to you by your car over here. So right now you are at 2A, which is this one, which is what I scanned over there, and the car will then give you the code which you can.
So 0248.
0248.
Yes.
Yes. So yeah, this has already been lowered.
They should do this in the rest of the world, especially in Singapore.
Oh, Singapore also they do that?
They don't have. So the other brands, the ICE cars park into the lot, which is very irritating. So they should implement this.
So let's head down. Keith is going to supercharge the car and we'll do a wrap up of our trip.
So basically all you have to do is because I have a account with Tesla, so the cost of the charge will be auto deduct. So all you have to do is to unplug it, plug it in, and you will indicate over there that it's already charging.
You see the blue lights indicate that it's connecting, and once it turns green, it will mean that it's now charging. The charge spots in China are different. So if you go to the Supercharger stalls ahead of us, like this one here, you can see that this is larger than the North America charging standard and smaller than the CCS2 that you see around the world as a standard. It's still pretty heavy though. You plug it back in like that. And you can see inside Keith's Tesla, it takes about 30 minutes to fully charge his car. He's charging at 103 kilowatt right now. As we wait for the car to supercharge a little, maybe let's do a short trip recap with Joseph and Keith. So Joseph,
Hey.
now that you've been on a short Tesla road trip from Shanghai to Suzhou and back, what's your impression on driving a Tesla in China?
It's perfect. The ride was comfortable on the expressway. Of course, on the small terrains, the country road was a little bit choppy, but overall it was a wonderful experience. We really have to thank Keith for this, housing us today. It was a wonderful day for us. Yeah.
Agree. Thank you so much, Keith, for being an excellent host, a great host, giving us a nice Model Y road trip experience. Amazing noodles over lunch. Yeah, the Suzhou noodles that we cannot find in Singapore. And we got to see ancient town, which was scenic, beautiful. And here we are. So each way, Shanghai to Suzhou is about 100 kilometers. So we actually drove more than 200 kilometers today. Now Keith has been living here for more than 2 decades. And he's also made longer road trips, especially recently during the Golden Week in October. How do you find road tripping with a Tesla in China so far?
Well, in the first place, EVs in China is getting, the infrastructure for EVs in China is getting more and more complete. We hardly have to wait. Sometimes we do have to queue. And there is this problem when all the superchargers are all filled up, that you have to wait and you pray that we don't have a second car coming to queue because there's no standard way to queue. There are more than one instance where I have met up with 2 to 3 people in queue and we are the next in line. But with the second person, the second in line, recognized that he's the second in line and graciously allowed me to park and charge, even though he's in a better position to slot it in before me. But obviously we hope that in future this kind of system of charging can become a bit more civil. Other than that, superchargers can be found everywhere, like what Daren has shown us just now. Even in the shopping mall itself, there are 3 different charging stations. One Tesla, one another supercharger, and the third one which is a slow charger. So they are basically everywhere, highly proliferated and very convenient and very cheap as well. Yeah.
The next time I come to China, I definitely would want to rent a Tesla. Now, the first step for foreigners is it's not enough to only have your international driver's permit. You've got to go to the airport and go to the police station and get a temporary driving permit for foreigners to drive in China. After you get it, after you rent a Tesla, I would love to hear, Keith, what's one tip you have for foreigners driving in China for the first time?
Well, I'm not too sure if Daren has noticed, but we try to be on the safe side. So we don't try to speed. We try to, be as careful as we possibly can. Even for somebody who's like me, for being here for 20 years, you can still get into a lot of problems, a lot of trouble if you try to
Traffic rules.
Yeah. That's the word. Yeah. Especially if you are in another province and if you get caught there breaking the rule, you have to go to a traffic police station in that province to settle the issue. Yeah, all this can complicate things a lot.
Thank you so much for the insights and experience today, Keith. We've learned a lot. We're very inspired. Joseph, thank you for joining us on the trip today.
Let's do a
So,
video.
come meet them in Shanghai. Again, 3 Singaporeans here enjoying a really great experience in China. As Keith mentioned, there are a lot of cameras here in China, so be compliant, follow the rules. When in doubt, ask. If you've got local friends, even better. And as you can see, that the China infrastructure for EVs is really advanced. You see a lot of Teslas everywhere throughout this video, in our photos as well. This Supercharger station has 18 stalls. You can see Teslas all around us. Let us know what questions you have for Keith, Joseph, and myself. If you found this video useful, please click the like button, hit subscribe to stay updated to more videos on Tesla. 再见。
拜拜，再见。
再见。